Hi everybody, here's the titanium toggle on a ridgeline. So this one here is just a titanium toggle installed on the main line right here. And then where I've gone around the tree, my line can just come and wrap around this toggle wherever I have it. And I can lock the toggle in place too by pulling this little piece out and throwing it over, kind of like what I did here. And this toggle is a little different. I made this one longer so it can be used as a bear toggle or a lanyard toggle on a sewn webbing, like on the outside of a backpack. But it does have two holes here that are smaller, so it grips the line better, like if you have it on a PCT bear bag. But it can still work just like the tack toggle. It's just a couple grams heavier because it's longer. And then as you can see on this one, these two holes for the line are a little bit bigger, and that's like for if you're using a bigger ridge line. This will slide along the line easier for making adjustments, whereas this one that I'm wanting for a bear bag toggle, it's going to grip the line and stay in place better without necessarily having to have the loop of it thrown over the top. So I just wanted to show you guys these next to each other, and then I'll show you one more version of this toggle on the other side. So this one here is just like the smooth toggle on the other side that I showed you, but I added these little notches to it, so it's tactile. It's easily recognizable by touch. It's kind of just an add-on just to see how well it would work. The smooth one, I really like that one best because it doesn't snag on anything. So if it's inside of a compartment with clothing or netting, it's just really smooth, and you can use it as a lanyard in your pocket or on the outside of your pack and not ever snag. So this little tactile one is kind of it's just for people that want to try it. It is kind of cool because you can put the tactile part a certain direction, so if you always hang your line a certain way, that can kind of be a reminder. But it works just like the other ones. It's just around the back here, this loose piece where I went around the tree, I just came along to the toggle and wrapped around it a couple times, and now it's locked in place. In here are the toggles all next to each other. As you can see, they're pretty much the same size. Yes, Myers Tech Hammock Lab is all about hardware free around the tree, but the tack toggle as a tensioner and line connector works so good that it's going to be used for heavier duty applications. So this titanium one will fit the bill because the plastic one, even though it works really good and most of the tension is actually on this knot back here when you set it up by pulling the bite through and then over the top, eventually the plastic will fail if you use like a lot of weight. If you use it as a really heavy bear bag toggle, or like if you want to hang meat, like you're out in the woods and you have to field dress, these will work on a line that's going to hang big chunks of meat, like if you're hunting or hanging water bags or anything like that. And here's just a quick example of how I use these on a lanyard. Like here's a lanyard, I have a pocket knife on something like this, but it just connects up to anywhere, like right here, or a belt loop on your belt, or a noisy traffic. That was a joke. But you can see it just connects up to there, and then it will hang out. So I can hang my backpack. I can take that lanyard and run it through my backpack and hang my backpack on the end of this hammock. And just like with these sewn loops, this is kind of an example of what you'd have on the end of your backpack. You can pass it through the sewn loop, and then it will stay there until you flip it and pass it back through like that. And one last thing I'll show you. So here's a toggle. I'm on the other side of the line now, but let's just say, for example, this line was really short, like it only went to right here where I'm pinching, but I had another piece of line and I needed a long line. And so instead of like tying knots or figuring out how to connect those two lines together, what I can do is just lock this line, lock the line off like I've done right here. I've just pulled that bite and put it over the top. And say, for example, this was my other line, I can just come up and go around this toggle and connect the two pieces of line, and then I'll have a longer piece of line. So it can quickly let me connect two pieces of line. So sorry about the shaky work here, but just like that. So if I have two pieces of line that are of similar diameter or even dissimilar diameter, I can use the toggle in line to connect the two pieces. So like if I need a really long ridge line for some reason and I just don't have it all in one thing, or I can also use it to connect a bunch of ground ties together if I wanted like one really long ground tie and I wasn't using all of my ground ties. So those are my metal versions of the toggle. They're made with titanium, so they're pretty strong and they're respectably lightweight, but they're not quite as light as aluminum, but definitely they'll handle a little bit more abuse. And one thing to know about the smooth toggle, if you're using this on a ridge line and that's kind of like what your purpose is going to be, the smooth toggle works the best on a ridge line for one reason. Whenever you have it set up like this one and you want to move this lock off, so like with the square one, I have to get rid of the tension in the line and then push that lock off. This one kind of stays locked more readily than the smooth one. But then with the smooth one, wow, sorry about the focus today. Let me switch up. Okay, so with the smooth one, you just have to come up, and where that line has a bite pulled around it, you can just slide it down, because the angle right here allows that piece that you pulled out and threw over the top to just slide off easily. So if you're setting up a ridge line and you just want like the fastest possible setup that works almost exactly like the tack toggle, this one works the best. All right, thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one.